You are listening to the Slow Living Podcast, and I'm your host, Stephanie O'Day. What if I told you that you could truly have the life of your dreams, the life you've always wanted, one filled with abundance, joy, and a sense of purpose? It's absolutely possible, and I see it each and every day with my coaching clients. It all starts with learning how to slow down. You deserve to live the life you've always dreamt about. Let's get started. You are listening to the Slow Living Podcast, and I am your host, Stephanie O'Day. Thank you for being here, pretty people. We are recording today, episode number 88. And 8 is a very lucky number, and especially in the Asian culture. And I just want to say how glad I am to be recording episode number 88. And today we're going to be talking about internal dialogue and how to shift it, tweak it, modify it, love it, all so it helps you and serves you as you're meeting both your short-term and long-term goals so you can have a long, steady, sustainable life filled with success. And I want you to define success as by meeting both your personal and your professional goals. So sometimes people come to me because they're in go mode, they're in hustle mode, and they're worried. They're worried, like, why do I want to slow down? Because what I'm doing is helping me to achieve my goals. And in order to achieve my professional goals, I have to be in overdrive. I am this person who needs to work 24/7 in order to get ahead, in order to meet my financial goals, in order to put money into savings and throw it into the 529s and retirement accounts. And how on earth am I going to get to where I'm going unless I go? And here you are telling me that the secret sauce is to slow down? Steph, I think you're nuts. And so I get it. I totally and I absolutely get it. So since we are doing episode number 88 today, and because it is a lucky number, I'm going to ask you to trust me. And if it helps, draw on a piece of paper a great, big, huge number 8, and then start just tracing it. Trace it with your fingers. Take some deep breath and slow down and just stay on this journey with me, because I'm not asking you to stop. I'm not asking you to turn around and start all over again. I'm asking you to keep doing a lot of the things you're doing, but to start really questioning yourself and start really asking, is what I'm doing now sustainable? If I keep going on this trajectory path that I'm on, what's going to happen in 3 years? What's going to happen in 5 years? Is my health going to be okay? Are my relationships going to be okay? Or am I going to be proud of how I'm parenting? Am I going to be proud of how I'm showing up in my marriage? These are the questions to really sort of slow down and ask yourself, because the marker of a life well lived is not whether or not someone knows that you've quickly built an online business and met 10,000 Instagram faves and likes or follows or whatever they're saying it is. That's not the marker to success. So someone asked me, gosh, my days are running together. I'm recording this on a Saturday, and this feels like it was the longest week in the history of the universe. So I think somebody asked me Wednesday on a call, that their goal was to have a check by their name on Instagram and Facebook, because that's how they'll know that they made it. and and we were on the phone, so I couldn't hug her and just really connect and let her know that no, that's just kind of a vanity metric, and that's not something to really put on a goal list to strive towards. If it happens, great, but that's not a goal. That's not something that will really like fill a void and make you feel good deep down inside. I happen to have a blue check on Facebook. I don't know how it happened, or I certainly didn't do anything to make it happen. At some point, Facebook emailed me from a secure thing, and I didn't know if it was a scam or not. So then I Googled it, and I just needed to verify some facts about myself and some different things, and then all of a sudden the blue check appeared. That even though Facebook owns Instagram, I do not have a blue check on Instagram. You now can buy blue checks. So Facebook, which is owned by Meta, I don't know, META, their campus is close to us, and so we can walk through it, and it's just lovely. And there's a pretty good coffee house, and there's this like biking area, and people rollerblade, and for a little while the campus was kind of overrun by teens and their skateboards, and this was during COVID, and so everyone was outside and they were building this campus, but then the kind of skateboarders overrun the campus, and so you have this, I don't know, bazillion-dollar building and campus just kind of overtaken by teenagers during COVID, which I loved, because where else are you supposed to go when you're a teenager? And it's COVID. So anyway, where are you going, Steph? Why are you talking about this? I'm talking about this because you have this great big huge super important global conglomeration headquarters, and it's beautiful and it's massive and it's completely and totally empty. The building means nothing. It's the people that make something. So a blue check, being verified, having this many likes or that many likes, none of that is important. What matters, it's what's on the inside, who you are, how you show up, how you serve, how you hug, how you nurture, how you help, and how you love on yourself is what feels good. So reaching some sort of arbitrary goal just so you can check it off, that's not going to fulfill you. At some point, I'm going to write an entire podcast episode and talk to you about chasing gold stars and the need for external validation versus internal validation. And that does tie into what we're talking about today of the internal chatter, the internal noise, the internal dialogue. The last episode that we had recorded, I had talked about two sides of the same coin, and this is essentially what humans have, this need for feeling worthy, or the need to sort of kind of control everything. And both of them probably are essentially the same thing. Some people who are quote unquote control freaks and super type A believe they have to do all these things all the time in a certain way, or everything will fall apart. It's sort of that vision of a tightrope, that you have to do it this way and this way only to get to the other side. But if you just climb down the tightrope ladder, you could just get to the other side. You could crawl to the other side. You could roll to the other side. You could somersault to the other side. You could cartwheel to the other side. If the goal is to get to the other side, doing it in a tightrope way is really the most difficult way to get to the other side. So we teach our children the story of the tortoise and the hare. Be the tortoise. Be the tortoise. Be the tortoise. One of my coaching clients, Catherine, she's been on the podcast. We worked together for a while, and she actually happens to live on a nature reserve. And an actual, for realsies, in real life, tortoise showed up to her back door. Actually, I think it was a snapping turtle. Catherine, you can call in and tell me that I'm wrong, and that's fine. But anyway, the metaphor stands as far as I'm concerned. So today, today, let's talk about internal dialogue. And in that last episode, I shared that when I'm feeling anxious, when I'm feeling run down, when I'm feeling out of control, the dialogue that sometimes, unfortunately, crops up for me is there's too much to do and not enough time to do it, or it doesn't matter what I do, it's not going to be good enough. And both of those kind of internal chatter, some people call it tapes, some people call it stories. Whatever you call it is fine. It's all essentially the same thing. It produces feelings of anxiety, a feeling like you're not doing things right. And that's what we're going to work on shifting today. So I got a few emails and messages on how to shift this and what to do if you're kind of feeling this way. So it's a default setting, and it happens and it crops up when you are in go mode, when you're in rush mode and you get squeezed. So there's this old Buddhist kind of saying, and I'm going to butcher it, but I'm going to say it anyway because I don't want to I don't want to stop recording and then have to have Mike, the podcast guy, splice things together. But it's something along the lines of when you're squeezed, what comes out? So think about it. When you're squeezed, when you're having a hard day, when something doesn't go how you expected it, what comes out? Is it rage? Is it sadness? Do you burst into tears? Is it overwhelm? Is it frustration? And if that's not who you are and who you want to be, then it's fixing that kind of internally stuff, the inner workings. And so that Buddhist saying talks about how when you squeeze a lemon juice comes out. When you squeeze a lime juice comes out. When you squeeze a human, what comes out? And so just really kind of think about it and maybe do a little bit of journaling. So what comes out of me, depending on if I've taken the time to slow down and take care of myself. And for me, that means journaling in the morning, waking up slowly, doing yoga, doing stretches before my family wakes up, and Sheldon. And so for me, that means, because I am working a full-time day job right now as a school site secretary, I often get up at 4. And I am not suggesting to you in any way to get up at 4. This is what works for me, and you need to figure out what works for you. Okay, shifting this internal dialogue. So I had asked you a few minutes ago if you are not driving or walking and you have the opportunity to draw the number 8 on a piece of paper and just start kind of tracing it with your finger. That will immediately sort of shift your brain to do something else and to not ruminate on internal chatter that doesn't feel good and creates tightness in your chest and anxiety. And this crops up an awful lot at nighttime when you're trying to go to sleep, or if perhaps you've been asleep for a while and you jerk awake. So I am a huge proponent of sleep, and the episode on sleep is number 18, and figuring out your sleep and doing absolutely everything you can to refresh yourself, to reset yourself, and get the absolute best night's sleep that you can get. It's very important. Hormones play an awful lot into that. A lot of the women that I work with are in their late 30s, early 40s, creeping into their 50s and beyond, and the hormones are real and not something you can ignore and not something that you can numb out with a whole bunch of sugar and alcohol and pushing yourself and being mean to yourself with crash dieting and exercise. So if you haven't listened to the It's Not You, It's Your Hormones episode, that's number 17. And then for me, one of the best ways to try and help heal my hormones and my sleep was through intermittent fasting. So I wrote 246 Eat, and that's on Amazon. That's also on my site. And then I recorded an episode on that of number 19. So it all sort of ties in together when it comes to your physical health, because your physical health leads the way to your internal health. Some people call it mental health. I'm uncomfortable using the term mental health because I am not a therapist, and I don't want to inadvertently give wrong mental health advice. So I'm going to call it internal dialogue. If this is something that you can't shift through tweaking and modifying on your own, reach out for help. Talk to your doctor. Talk to a mental health professional. I'm not a mental health professional. I'm a life coach. The difference between life coaching and therapy is life coaching helps you get from where you are to where it is you want to go. I will help you meet your personal and professional goals in a slow, steady, sustainable way. But I am not a mental health professional. Okay. So, as a coach, though, what I can do is I can help you figure out where you are right now and help you do some tweaking and modifying so then you can reach your personal and professional goals. And if you have that kind of beat yourself up internal dialogue, my best suggestion is to do kind of a pattern interrupt to help tweak it. And one of the best ways is through a little bit of self-hypnosis, which might sound hokey, and you start thinking of like carnival games where the guy brings the lady up and puts her on a cardboard box and he's hypnotizing her. So I am not proposing that. I don't know anything about that. But one of the most powerful books that I ever read about reprogramming your brain is Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. And Maxwell Maltz is a doctor, but he's not a brain doctor. He is a plastic surgeon. And in reading through the book and going through the exercise was so beneficial to me because I realized that a lot of what he's recommending that's backed by science, I was already doing on my own. I had already sort of figured this out of that I am prone to anxiety and I am prone to kind of that noisy chatter brain. And in order to help me meet my personal and professional goals, I had to stop that. I had to pattern interrupt it. I had to control alt delete all of that. And so read the book. But also I'm going to talk to you about some practical ways today to do a bit of a pattern interrupt and do a little bit of self hypnosis. So affirmations get thrown around an awful lot. And I am a huge fan of affirmations. I love affirmations. I love motivational quotes. I love reading my horoscope. I love goofing around with all of the things that might be of help. Some things might be a placebo effect. I am A-okay with placebo effects. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. When I was running the preschool centers for the disadvantaged children before having kids of my own, and I was doing a lot of social work in that way, there was a catalog left in the staff room for a company run by Eldon Taylor called Inner Talk. And I was fascinated by this catalog, and I was young. I was in my early 20s, and literally had no money. Adam and I remember moving the couch cushions to count out change to have enough to go to Taco Bell. And at the time, if we could find $2.88, that was enough that we could eat dinner at Taco Bell. So had no money, still uber fascinated by Inner Talk and this catalog by Eldon Taylor. So you can Google him, find his catalog. They still send out snail mail catalogs, and they're fascinating to read. But that is when I first fell in love with affirmations and the idea of self hypnosis. And I bought a CD, and I had to send away for it in the mail. And I think the CD was $24. And it just seemed really, 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 really expensive at the time. But I thought maybe it would help these kids that I had, and this I want to say pocket of kids, but this class of kids that I had. They were homeless. They had a lot of trauma. They had a lot of trust issues, and I was their teacher, and I just loved on them all day long and told them they were wonderful. And while they were falling asleep napping, I whispered into their ear that they were safe, and that they were loved, and that they were amazing and wonderful and precious, and they were going to do amazing things in this world. And I just tried my hardest while they were kind of drifting off to sleep to whisper these things into their ears, because when it relaxed them, everyone wants to know that they're loved and that they're safe and that they're taken care of and that everything's going to be okay. So I did that for them, but then I found these CDs that did it for me. And I thought, wow, this is pretty amazeballs. So they were subliminal messaging CDs. And so I bought I think the name of it is the I Can series, and it was boosting self-esteem. And I had the thought at kind of a young age, and Adam and I had, we had decided this together on the phone one night when we were early dating. So we were probably 16. We were on the phone, and Adam said something, or maybe we were 17. He said something like, "The root of all evil is low self-esteem." And I remember thinking that was very deep and wise for my 17-year-old boyfriend. So I always kind of had that thought. So I bought this CD and I played it on loop. And you really just heard classical music. And every once in a while, you could kind of maybe, if you were quiet and still, make out a voice, a nondescript voice. But after a few weeks of playing this CD on repeat, my brain, every once in a while when it was quiet, I would hear, "You are safe. You are secure." Because when you ordered the CD, it also had on the inside flap a list of all of the affirmations subliminally. And so I had read them a few times, so I knew I wasn't getting brainwashed. Brainwashed in a good way, not a bad way. And so I just found that fascinating. And then with my own children, I continued to play this sort of self-esteem building CD from Inner Talk. So the guy who started it is Eldon Taylor, and I still get their email newsletters to this day, and I still recommend it often. My friend Jeanette Fulda, she's my site designer, but she also she wrote a book on chronic pain, on having this headache that wouldn't go away. She also wrote Half-Assed, which is a fantastic book about her weight loss journey. But she wrote, what did she write? I'm not going to get up to go look at the bookshelf right now, but it had something to do with the year that I tried everything to get rid of this headache that just wouldn't go away. And she literally tried everything to help get this headache away. And so since I loved her and thought she was great, I ordered her a CD from Eldon Taylor from Inner Talk on getting rid of pain. And so I think I am in the book as an example. One of my friends sent me a CD in the mail, so that was me, and she wrote about me in the mail in her book. Who knows if it works? Again, I am a-okay with placebo effect. I am a-okay with feng shui. I am a-okay with superstitions. I am a-okay with anything that makes you feel better. If it doesn't make you feel good, or if it's like superstitious in this black hat way, throw it out the window. Do what feels right for you. Chanting affirmations out loud. If they don't feel right, or you're going to argue back to them, that's a problem. So if you're saying, everything I do well, that's one of my favorite affirmations, is everything I do well. And your brain in the void is saying, no, you're not. You're the worst. That's not going to work. So you need to do an affirmation that feels good. So maybe it's, I am safe. I am here. I am present. I am good. Something that your brain's not going to argue back with. And then record them. Record your affirmations into your notes app or something. You can put it on your computer. And I like to just kind of play them in the background. And what happens is once you do that for a while, you can start your list of affirmations when you're feeling anxious, when you're feeling uncomfortable, when you're feeling trapped, like you're on an airplane and you're feeling really out of control. You can start with your first few affirmations, and then your brain will fill in the rest and will start helping you kind of cool down and recenter yourself. There's a great app that I like. It's called Hypnobox, Hypno Box. It's free. There's a paid version. I have the free one because I'm Scottish. And every time you log into it, there's going to be a sales pitch, and then you have to find the little thing that says continue on to the free version. So continue on to the free version. What you can do in that app is record your own affirmations, and then you can stack them with some of their already recorded affirmations to create this like little personalized meditation kind of bundle for yourself. So if I'm particularly having a hard day, I'll click on Steph affirmations. That's what it's called. If I'm having a hard time sleeping, I will click on Steph sleep. And they're about 25 minutes. If you record your affirmations, usually it's only like a minute and a half, 2 minutes. You can stack them. You can repeat them. So I'll go through in a bundle. I do their kind of preset free one, which is called induction, where it tells you that you're calm and you're safe. And so I listen to the voice. I personally prefer the female voice, and she's just kind of calm. There's a tiny touch of a British accent, maybe. I don't know, but I like it. So even just last night, I had a hard time sleeping. So I got out of bed, because if you're having a hard time sleeping, staying in the same spot is not helpful. Leave. Leave the bed. Do a pattern interrupt. Don't keep doing what's not working. So I moved downstairs to the couch. I did a little bit of yoga, some cat-cows, and stretching before I climbed onto the couch. And then I opened the Hypnobox app, and I did the preset Steph sleep bundle that I created. So I do recommend goofing around with that. Tapping. Tapping is fantastic. If you haven't goofed around with tapping, Google it. Louise Hay is kind of the grandma of personal and self-development, and I had watched some tapping episodes with her on YouTube, and so that's how I first got into tapping, I don't know, a dozen or so years ago. I think it's great. And actually, while we're on the subject of Louise Hay, anything she's written is just great, and she's got a calm, quiet, soothing voice, so if you can ever listen to anything that she's written on Audible or somewhere online, listening to old YouTube. It's she's got a great voice and it's fun. Anchoring. So anchoring is another kind of self-hypnosis, just fun thing that I guide my coaching clients through. And I still do it. If I'm stuck in a staff meeting or some sort of situation that I can't get out of, I find my anchor spot. So for me, my anchor spot is between my pointer finger and my thumb, and it's this kind of soft, squishy, but well, on me it's squishy, soft, squishy part, that kind of webbing. And so I anchor myself by squeezing that. And the way to anchor is when you're in a good mood, when you're feeling calm. So great time is on your yoga mat. Visualize your safe space. For me, my safe space is the ocean. God, I love the ocean. I love everything about it. I like sitting and just staring at those waves crashing on the rocks. I like the noise. I like the smells. I like the sound. I like where we live, it's always foggy at the beach, and that's okay. I love the fog. I like the beach. That is my safe spot, and that is the spot that I have chosen to anchor. Maybe for you, it's somewhere else. I do recommend somewhere that won't change all that much. So if your safe spot is Yosemite or something like that, and Yosemite is currently burnt down, and that creates feelings of uncomfortableness, try and pick something that's not going to change. So then you're not chattering with yourself. Yeah, well, that won't work anymore because it burned down. That's not super helpful. So for me, I picked the ocean. You pick what's right for you. Somewhere stable, probably not something that could change all that much. So once you're in your calm, peaceful, safe place, you pick a part of your body. I picked that soft, squishy part between my pointer finger and thumb. And then you squeeze intentionally with that calm, peaceful feeling. And tell yourself, this is my anchor place. This is my safe place. I am anchored. I am safe. This is my anchor place. I am calm. This is my anchor place. I am good. And then you're done. And then you're just done. Is it a little hokey? Is it a little woo? Is it a little phony baloney? Maybe. But does that matter? If it works, if it helps you, it is all good. And that's what slowing down is all about. Choosing on purpose what feels good and what helps you move forward in a steady, teeny tiny little baby step way to meet your personal and professional goals. I want to thank all of my new listeners before I log off today. So I did a recording with my very good and wonderful and amazing, lovely friend, Sandy Cooper, who has fantastic hair. And last time we talked, she had a tank top on, so I also know she has great arms and shoulders. But that is not why I love her. I love her in many, many, many ways. And I did 2 podcast episodes with her on her Balanced Momcast. So Sandy Cooper runs the Scoop on Balance website, and her podcast is the Balanced Momcast. And I recorded episode number 191 and 192 with her, and some of her listeners are here, and I just want to thank you. Thank you for moving over to check this out, to see what it's all about. I'm happy you're here. If you have any questions, email me, steph@stephanieoday.com. I'm a real person. I answer my own email. Social media, I am not the best social media person. I will post, but but I have someone who manages the social media. So really, if you want me first and not through a social media manager who's telling me to then come around and check on you, email really and truly is the best way. I also want to thank everyone who has come over from the Purpose Driven Mom Summit. I was one of, 30 or so speakers, and in that I spoke about journaling your way to success. And I recommended using a daily journaling prompt and worksheet. And you can find the information for all of that at stephanieoday.com/daily, DAILY. I also want to say that right now there is a summertime bundle on sale for the summertime months of 2023. If you would like in on that, make sure you're on the email lists. The 30 Days to a New You journal book that's for sale on Amazon, I have bundled in this summertime bundle because people have asked for it in a PDF version so they can print out and use again and again. And for years, I've resisted that because that's not what I do. I like the little books. I like the little books, so then I can go back and look at them, and I like them bound in this way, but not everybody is me. And that's okay, because that's what makes the world fun and exciting and enjoyable to live in. So I get it. So anyway, the summertime bundle is a silly low price of $23 for the summer of 2023. And that has 30 Days to a New You PDF in it. It also has Clean Less, Play More in it because your external house and home and environment you live in should be calm, should be content, should be decluttered, and that book will help you get there. And then it also has 30 days of meal planning in freezer meals, and they're crock-potable. They are telling you exactly what to buy at the grocery store and how to assemble your freezer bags so then you can throw them in the freezer so you do not have to think about dinner, because decision fatiguing is real. And especially in the summer, I want you outside. I want you enjoying life. I don't want you worrying about dinner. And so that is all in there together for $23. And I think that's it. So, as always, I think you're amazing and wonderful and lovely. Consider yourself loved and hugged, and I'll see you again next week. Thank you for being here. Do you have a slow living story to share? Leave me a voicemail at stephanieoday.com/podcast with any questions, comments, feedback, or testimonials, and I will be sure to include it in an upcoming episode. Also, if you found value in this episode, please share it with your family and friends and subscribe through your favorite podcast provider. The more you share, comment, and leave positive reviews, the more people we can reach and share the slow living lifestyle and messaging. Thank you, Slow Down Society, and have an absolutely wonderful day.